can hit it right off the bat if that's what you would like to.
everybody, and welcome into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. We are here broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena, and it is time for the second week of the Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble. The Everest have looked so strong this year so far, so can either the Monsoons or Meridian Tech knock them off tonight? We will have 3 rounds of the group stage and our grand finals. Who will be the champion in week 2 of this Rumble? Well, let's find out. I'm your host, Brenner Barelat. Join with me to call all of the action is Colby D'Angelo Alloway. And we have some exciting news to you tonight with the Fire Islands and the Monsoons actually combining teams this week to hopefully knock down the Everest. So what are you expecting to see from this combined roster of these two teams tonight?
So the Fire Islands was one of the teams that did the best job of challenging the Everest, who have so far been kind of the reigning champions of every Rumble that we've had. And the Monsoons were the newer team that went into this with like a healthy growth mindset, which is exactly what we're looking for. So I expect good things to come from the merger of the Fire Islands and the Monsoons. I expect the new like mixed roster to be able to do things. There will be an adjustment period as they try to get used to new players, new people. There's always that adjustment period, but I expect them to come out as overall a stronger team than either one was individually.
So going into this week with the 3 teams in total this time around, with the Everest, the Monsoons combining with the Fire Islands, and Meridian Tech, which of these 2 teams are you hoping puts up the bigger challenge between Meridian Tech and the Monsoons to take down the Everest? And which one between the Monsoons and Meridian Tech do you think will come out on top?
I would say that the Monsoons are definitely in an adjustment period right now. That's not to say that they can't put up the fight, because I'm sure that they will, especially against Meridian Tech. But I think Meridian Tech will end up coming out on top on that just because their individual play is so skilled. They have the individual play to one-trick heroes in less than optimal situations. They have the individual play to kind of like solo carry in a team game, and that's not always the strat that you want. You definitely don't want to try to solo play into a team game, but they definitely, if they need to, there are some of those players that have the ability to do that.
Yeah, and these players are going to need all the help they can get, and that's where we bring in Doc Keys to the game. And in Overwatch, that is to understand your comp/playstyle, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and of course, objective is greater than kills. And this is brought to us by the Esports Tower, where you can score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Well, we are getting ready to jump into the first matchup of tonight, and another big change for this Rumble this week will be the grand finals are a best of 3, not a best of 5 this time round. So walk us through that as well as we get ready to jump into this.
So it being a best of 3 means that it's overall a quicker matchup. It's not necessary to have the best of 5. Usually you do, because teams are more evenly matched. As we've seen here, kind of the Everests are more on the team play scale than any other team we've seen so far. So I don't actually think that the best of 3 versus best of 5 is that huge of a deal, because both teams still have a chance and they have the opportunity to reverse sweep or things like that. It just gives teams less playtime, and ultimately less playtime means less experience in a competitive environment, which is not necessarily what you're looking for, but can be made up for with more games and going through new Rumbles every week.
Well, kicking things off with this first best of 3 between the Everest and the Monsoons. Kicking things off on King Row, Panda Squad gets that first elimination onto Shadow Soul, quickly followed by with the Sonic Arrow onto Radius Boss, with Dragon Shadow finishing off not Doomfist Immortality Field. Things already looking very good for the Monsoons, as Judge gets a 2-piece onto Frozen Phoenix and Dragon Shadow, but will get taken down by Lucky Chew. Quickly followed by Panda Squad getting the refrag onto Lucky Chew and taking down Delirious. Main support going down last is what you want to see, but the Monsoons having a very strong push, taking that first point very quickly.
Panda Squad peeked around that corner on the Hanzo and said, "Let me hand you the point, Monsoons. Let's bring this merger and go ahead and just take this first point with ease." That was an amazing Hanzo play there. And now he's going to try to do it again as he sets up on the high ground. Going to have to fall back because he's the only one there, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the first elimination, once again, going over the side of the Monsoons with Despacito taking down Frozen Phoenix, and Panda Squad taking down Dragon Shadow once again, with not Doomfist getting a 3-piece all on their own. No assists in sight. Hey, the Battle Baptiste coming in clutch for the Monsoons.
We knew that this merger would be a great thing for both of the teams, but I honestly am super shocked that they are able to hold the Everests back and not have an actual... The Everests haven't had the opportunity to have an actual team fight thus far, and the cart has almost capped all the way to first point. As we set up into this next fight, the ultimates to watch are going to be the Reinhardt Earthshatter and possibly the Dragon from Panda Squad.
Yeah, both teams kicking off this fight with the Amplification Matrix for both their Baptiste. Monsoons initiated, were not able to get a lot of value, but did end up taking down Frozen Phoenix. Not Doomfist doing their best to put out as much damage as they can, and they will get that first checkpoint completely uncontested. Everest tried to go in for that final push, but were not able to get it. So as the charge comes in, lands, Judge will end up going down, just going a bit too far, as not Panda Squad was able to pick up one more with Desperate Shooter coming in with the Molten Core, able to pick up two with the help of his handy dandy turret. So he's just going in on the engage with that modified right click, able to use it so much more as Panda Squad gets another elimination, trying to get that refrag onto Frozen Phoenix, but is not able to get it. So very quick back-to-back as they're trying to secure this final point. D.Va will try to re-secure the high ground as not Doomfist is there to secure it as Panda Squad gets the final last two eliminations. So the final moments for the Everests here, they're usually the top team. What are you hoping to see from them on this final defense?
Well, picking off the Reinhardt and the Torbjorn that went off into that corner there is definitely a great thing for them. I would 100% expect the Everests to be capable of punishing the enemy team's overcommits like that. But Panda Squad is still out here fighting, and honestly, it looks like it's going well for them. But they lost a full minute because of overcommits on the side of their team and the punishment that the Everests gave them for that.
So now with 4 minutes and 45 seconds on the board for the Monsoons on a great attack for Kings Row, no less. What are you hoping to see from the Everett's attack here? Do you expect them to be more aggressive than the Monsoons?
I don't know if there is more aggression that you can get from the Monsoons push there, but I expect them to be as aggressive.
So then as we throw things over to the defensive side of the Everest, we saw them holding on to the Torb for a very long time, and when they were even on the defense for the first point, they gave it up very quickly. So do you think they're going to start target prioritizing Panda Squad with how well he was doing on that Hanzo?
They have to target prioritize Panda Squad or they're not going to be able to get anything done, especially on that attack. Panda Squad almost single-handedly handed them first point, and then was a big deal handed them that second point there.
So now taking a look at the roster with now Shadow Soul on the Soldier 76 as well as Dragon Shadow back on the Mei. What are you hoping to see from these two DPS players with a Soldier going into both a Cole Cassidy and a Hanzo?
So the Hanzo is going to be great, especially as this Bastion swaps in there, just because spam and can also force the Bastion to move as we're going in there. And it looks like they are going back to the Mei. I have been debated. It looks like the Everests aren't quite sure what they're doing there. But the strategy with the Mei, which seems to be their final pick, is the wall and maul. It won't be able to contest the Hanzo as much as they might need it to.
Yeah, Hanzo trying to hold the high ground the best he could, but as this team fight gets ready to kick off, the Monsoons are making sure to stand behind that statue as they're waiting for the Everest to kick off this fight with Lucky Chew. It seems that they're going to take the engage that they want with the Shadow Soul throwing down his heal immediately, and will get taken down by Panda Squad as both DPS end up falling for the Everest. They try to go to the high ground, but Panda Squad cuts them off, taking down Lucky Chew right off the bat. Quickly followed by Judge going right into Frozen Phoenix, winning that fight. And there goes Radius Boss and Delirious. So what are you hoping from this next push from the Everest after losing their DPS right off the bat?
Somebody has to deal with the Hanzo. He's uncounterable right now and completely uncontested.
So now as they get ready, hopefully we don't see this Cole Cassidy getting picked off. He even tries to go through the wall, will not be able to get it. And so as they're getting ready for this next push, what are some ults you're hoping to see you get built up in this fight?
The Deadeye would be huge for them, especially because it can peek the Hanzo out, because usually he's not undercover.
We're trying to get some early poke in already. The Delirious is going to open things up with the Amplification Matrix, but is simply going to be line of sight. A great flashbang is going to take down the Reinhardt shield, so it will not lead to the elimination. Instead, they're going to go straight into the Dead End. The Shadow's going to let them hit that as Frozen Phoenix and Dragon Shadow get taken down, quickly followed by Desperate Shield going right into Lucky Chew and Shadow Soul. Delirious full fall as well, only one survivor.
And we 100% knew that the Deadeye was going to be in there, be a big ultimate, and then they cleaned up the fight immediately after that. Panda Squad was not the main DPS that time. That time it was the McCree, and that was a great job there with the Earth Shatter combo. Usually you want to combo an Earth Shatter with something, especially if you want to get the ult, ult value. And we're setting up for the second fight with just teams spamming at each other.
Yeah, they're just waiting for that perfect moment, waiting for Lucky Tree to engage that speed whistle in already. They're going to kick things off with a shatter, but Panda Squad is in the backline with the double dragons, and Judge will end up getting a two-piece onto both Delirious and Shadow Soul as we kick things over to the shatter, but Judge is going to get up first and land that swing onto Frozen Phoenix, and already the Monsoon's having a strong defense.
The biggest problem that the Everests are facing is they can't take space away from the Monsoons and the Monsoons DPS, and so the DPS are allowed to do whatever they want every single fight. Of course, with the help of their Reinhardt taking that space for them. But if you're the Everest, what you really want to look for here is a pick onto one of the Monsoons DPS.
Yeah, and right now the Monsoons have the ult advantage with that self-destruct. You know they're going to be wanting to use it in this coming fight, and already Panda Squad's still in that backline, not able to take the space that they need so they can have a secure rotation. And already with Shadow Soul being the first one down, getting taken down by Pando no less, these healers for the Monsoons are doing the DPS role. We saw Frozen Phoenix try to go in, but will not be able to engage with that Maywall. So instead, Panda Squad's just going to end up picking off the main heals of Delirious, as well as Dragon Shadow as Chumbasum finishes off Frozen Phoenix. So only 3 members remaining. The Everests are going to have to go for a reset.
And now, at this point, the Everests have no ultimates, so they really just... They're walking into 6 ultimates on the side of the Monsoons. This is not looking good for them. If you're an Everest fan, you should be biting your nails at this point.
So we got 50 seconds left on the board, and the Monsoons had a whole 5 minutes. The pressure is on here for the Everests.
That was the big Shattered Deadeye combo.
Yeah, and that's going to lead right into the Monsoons plan as they take down Frozen Phoenix and Delirious right off the bat, quickly followed by Chumbasum taking down Dragon Shadow, and not Doomfist finishing off Radius Boss.
We expected the Monsoons to have a strong showing with the merger of both of some incredibly skilled players from the Fire Islands and the Monsoons, but honestly, I didn't expect the Everests to get held in their spawn like this. They have one more shot, and they're still at the disadvantage here. They'll need a huge visor coupled with a blizzard.
Yeah, we got 15 seconds left as the blizzard gets eaten by Chumbasum, quickly followed by Despacito taking down Shadow Soul, and Panda Squad finishing off that Immortality field, but Radius Boss will end up picking off Judge, so they do lose that main tank as Panda Squad goes for the double dragons, but Despacito and not Doomfist are able to take down the main and the Reinhardt, so there is the Diva Bomb we knew was coming, but Chumbasum is there to take down Delirious, and Lucky Two falls to not Doomfist, quickly followed by Panda Squad taking down Shadow Soul. Pando takes out Radius Boss, and that seems to be the end.
The biggest issue that the Everests were having was they couldn't take the space that the Monsoons had because of their amazing DPS and Reinhardt play.
Yeah, so some fantastic tank plays, and as we know, you can only go at it alone so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We just saw that in the last play with the tank getting taken down first is not what you want to see from Judge, but the rest of his team was able to take it down. So you can see how talented these players are, and Esports Tower takes the time to create whole match teammates as well. And of course, I'd like to shout out to the coaches, and if you're watching and haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs, you should. It's a fast track to rank up. Well, that first match, the Everests actually ended up losing to the combined forces of Fire Islands and Monsoon. So walk us through that of where the Fire Islands kind of fell apart.
I am 100% extremely excited that somebody is able to challenge the Everests and hold them into their spawn, because the Everests had been the dominant team, almost completely unchallengeable by almost anybody else. But this merger of the Monsoons and the Fire Islands under the name of the Monsoons now has proved to be more than a force to be reckoned with. Panda Squad deserves particular highlighting for handing them that attack with almost 5 minutes to spare, especially on the first point, and was a big part of their second point, and was one of the only people that didn't overcommit on the third point. But I'm excited to see the Everests kind of with their backs against a wall here.
Yeah, because now they're going to head into round 2 where the Everests are going to be taking on Meridian Tech, returning challenger. So we'll have to wait and see how Meridian Tech is going to pull up, because both teams have been putting in the work this week, especially the Everests, and now just coming out of a loss against the Monsoons. What are you hoping to see improve for this team here?
The Everests, as Kings Row just showed us, the Everests really need to be able to take space from the DPS. That was their biggest issue. There are lots of mistakes that the DPS are making, usually in terms of overcommitting or peeking when they shouldn't, and they need to be able to punish that as both teams get ready to go up against one another here.
Yeah, so now finishing off this best of 3 between the Everest and the Monsoons, kicking things off with a great boop with Barbecue going actually right into the tanks. Will lead into Panda Squad, taking down Lucky Chew as well as his Mortality Field with BBQ getting a great charge onto Panda Squad, who's now on the Reaper this time around. So a big team comp change up with Despacito even taking down Shadow Soul on the rotation as the Colt Cassidy, no less. So he's not able to capitalize on that as Despacito makes sure to also get the mech down from the Holy. He has Dragon Shadow also takes on Despacito, and the mine's already charged up by the Judge will go down on point as Panda Squad takes down Dragon Shadow. Judge will end up just having to go for the reset and fall off the edge as BBQ gets taken down by the following of Monsoons.
This fight goes the same way of the Monsoons that the first one did, but it was much more even than that first fight on Kings Row.
Yeah, Panda Squad also cutting off the rotation of Shadow Soul, having yet to get with his team to get back on the point.
And as we set up this next time, the Everest did, like I said, the Everest did a better job than they did before. Monsoons, Despacito there is looking to land a Tracer Pulse, probably in the rotation as this next fight starts getting set up. You see them right there around that corner, just waiting for it. Probably going to go around the alley flank, absolutely, and look to stick ideally one of their supports, but any squishy will do.
Yeah, hopefully we do not see it land on the Shadow Soul, who gets eliminated in first fight so early on, but instead Panda Squad will get that first elimination onto Lucky Chew, quickly followed by Judge going on to BBQ. And as we mentioned, Despacito going for that Pulse Bomb on the squishy target, like you said, onto Shadow Soul, sadly. Quickly followed by Panda Squad and Despacito running into their spawn, not letting them leave.
And that was something that you never want to see. You never want to see your Baptiste go down first, especially when the Baptiste is the target for the Pulse Bomb, because then the Pulse Bomb is just able to be used on somebody else, if not to eliminate your main support. And the Monsoons still have the ult advantage at this point, but with the Everests, they're going to need to... The Everests are nothing to sneeze at. They have the Blizzard. They're going to want to use it soon.
Yeah, and the Ulta and counting the Everests have the advantage here, so what are you hoping to see to kick off this fight?
Usually... if the Everests are going to win this fight, they need to Blizzard before the Death Blossom comes out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to lead into, but Chum is Fum is there to eat the Blizzard and completely deny it, so instead the Everests will have to throw out their Sound Barrier to let them go into this fight. Right into Not Doofus getting the first elimination on the Dragon Shadow, quickly followed by him taking down BBQ, as well as Chum is Fum opening up with the Self-Destruct, able to take down Shadow Soul, so now how the opposite is trying to use their own Self-Destruct will not lead any as Pando gets a 2-piece of their own, quickly followed by Judge, so that's another reset for the Everests as it's at 95%.
If the Monsoons don't win this next fight just off the picks, they have to Death Blossom to clean it up exactly like we were talking about. The Implication Matrix comes out is not ultimately helpful.
Yeah, that Death Blossom stopped the rotation in its tracks. We saw the Shatter attempt, but the Everests were ultimately not able to get to that point. But on Control, it's a best of 3 within its own. So what are you hoping to see the Everests come back to on map 2 of Control now that we are in the indoors of Busan?
The Everests have done this a couple of times with Blizzards. They've ulted first because they understand that that's their win condition, but they haven't ulted well, and they've gotten it eaten, and that's definitely not what you're looking for. And this was the huge Pulse Bomb flank. Reaper was also there with the flank pick onto the Baptiste as well.
Yeah, as we watch a quick recap here of the Tracer just in the backline being uncontested. Finally, the Colt Cassidy is able to turn, but just gets pulse bombed in the face. So hopefully, as we kick things off for this next team fight, we are going to see a little roster change up with now Dragon Shadow on the Echo.
And Echo is usually a hero that is played to great impact, and it's also harder to mess up an Echo ult than it is to do a May Blizzard, especially against the D.Va, so I believe that's swap.
Yeah, Everest going for that pseudo dive will not pay off as Judge gets the first elimination onto C squared, so losing that secondary support. Quickly followed by the main support, getting taken down by Judge with a great flame strike. Dragon Shadow's doing their best to burn down that mech, will end up getting it as well as Chum is Fum getting their own mech. But Despacito will take down Dragon Shadow along with Chum is Fum getting the remake elimination onto the Tracer, and Despacito finishes off taking down Holy Chub.
The Everests are not prepared for the amount of aggression that is coming out from the Monsoons. Usually, if you're dealing with hyper aggression, usually you want to get just as aggressive back.
Yeah, it seems the merger between these two teams was the best of both worlds, and the Everests have not been able to keep up.
They haven't been able to keep up because they haven't been trying to do that hyper aggressive strat that the Monsoons are doing.
Yeah, trying to get an early engage here, but they need to pick a target to dive upon the life bars of the Monsoons. Is looking very low. Dragon Shadow will get the first elimination onto Despacito, quickly followed by Panda Squad taking down C squared. But BBQ's there with the refrag onto Pando, making sure to target those supports. Will finally go to cap the point because they just got backdoored by the Monsoons right now. So now the Everests are finally winning the fight as Panda Squad takes down Lucky Chew, but quickly Not Doofus make sure to also take down Dragon Shadow. BBQ's the last one alive. Will take down Chum is Fun, but get taken down by Pando. the main tank not staying with his team definitely cost the backline there.
We were talking about aggression and how that is a difficulty that the Everest have been facing. In that fight, it was focused aggression. Everybody was not aggressive on the same targets, and that's what cost them.
Yeah, so now as they get ready to kick things off, which target are they looking to dive to try to win this next team fight?
You definitely want to try to take out the Reinhardt. That is usually one of the hardest members to take out, however. And you definitely want to take out that Mei on the side of the Monsoons before they get the opportunity to Blizzard, or you just want to eat it, as we've seen a lot of happen.
Yeah, so all whole eyes are going to be on Holy to try to eat that, but a great shatter is going to land on 3 members, and all 3 of those members will get taken down immediately, but Holy Chop is there with the elimination as Despacito finishes up with taking down Dragon Shadow and BBQ, which means the Diva is the last one alive. A very clean fight by the Monsoons.
In this fight, the Monsoons are still looking to use probably Blizzard since they use the Earth Shatter next fight. So this is the one where all of the pressure is going to be on the Everest Diva there.
Yeah, so everybody's going to look for the Diva to eat that Blizzard, so Panda Squad cannot just solo win this fight. And there comes the Blizzard, did not even get eaten. The duplicate's even going to be used in the backline onto the Reinhardt, and the rally's going to come out, and C-Squared's going to get the first elimination onto Panda Squad, but the Pulse Bomb is going to end up eaten by Chumba Squad, quickly followed by Not Doofus taking down the mech. Judge is going to take down Lucky Choose, so there goes your main support. There goes the duplicate, and Chumba Squad is even going to eliminate Dragon Shadow, quickly followed by C-Squared taking down Despacito. With 99%, all pressure is on the Everest to try to cap at least this 1 point so they can have this match last a little bit longer. Shatter is going to come out, only land out to BBQ, but that's the main tank down. Quick follow by Panda Squad taking down C-Squared. Judge taking down Shadow, so this seems to be the end of the Everest right now going up against the Monsoons. Monsoons playing out of their minds as Judge takes down Lucky Chew. Pando gets a 2-piece onto Holy Chub, and that's it.
It looks like the monkey got the message about the aggression for the side of the Everest, but not the part about doing it together. And when you're aggressive completely by yourself, where nobody can reach you, it's not aggression at that point. It becomes closer to just throwing yourself at the enemy team.
Yeah, so the Monsoons, with the combined strength of the Fire Islands, brought it together and took down the Everest. So now, with that best of 3 out of the way and the Monsoons moving forward, we're going to throw it over to the Everests taking on Meridian Tech. So what are you hoping to see from Meridian Tech with now the Everests looking kind of vulnerable?
We definitely want to see Meridian Tech pull the same team-based aggression that the Monsoons were having great success with against the Everests, because the Everests are obviously not ready for it, and that makes a ton of sense. The Monsoons are playing like a completely different team than the Fire Islands or the Monsoons ever did individually. This is something that even we didn't expect, so there's no way that the Everests were expecting the Monsoons to come out swinging like this and camping them outside of their spawn. But if Meridian Tech wants to win, they need to be aggressive and do it together.
Yeah, so all eyes are going to be on Meridian Tech heading forward, and as we get ready to jump into this next best of 3, what first map are you hoping to see from this? Because we initially kicked things off with Kings Row. Are you hoping to see the return of the same map?
Kings Row is always a favorite map of mine, even as a caster, just because as a player, that is one of the most balanced maps out there. It has transitions, different parts of the map to do different things. So I wouldn't be upset if we saw that again. I'm also definitely not upset with this current pick here.
Yeah, Nepal is definitely going to be an interesting thing as we watch the Everest continue their brilliant play against the combined Esports Tower teams. How will they look as they go up against Meridian Tech? And remember, Meridian Tech has put together solid performances since joining the Rumbles. So as we take a look at their teams, we know Daydream's going to be on this Mercy as well as Soup on the Echo. So are you hoping to see this Sky duo lead this squad?
Daydream is always on the Mercy, able to hard carry an Echo there, and so I expect the Echo to have a lot of impact on the fight because she's also a very high impact hero just by herself. But that's not what you want to see if you're looking for the aerial duo to show off.
Yeah, well, it seems that the Everests are going to get the first 2 eliminations with Despacito now on the Tracer, able to take out Daydream right off the bat, quickly followed by taking down the Orisa. Now Pando taking down Soup and Despacito taking down Eternal Flame on the Doomfist, quickly followed by Judge finishing off Pyromix and Chumba's Phone taking down Big Boofus.
Everest's coming out showing us that they are in fact an incredibly difficult team to hold in their spawn, as they're just going to cleanly win that first fight as cleanly as the first Kings Row one off the back of their Tracer getting the elimination onto a support.
Yeah, Meridian Tech definitely playing their mains right now. Daydream on the Mercy, Big Boofus on the Roadhog, and Fem Neptune on the Orisa. A definitely interesting tank combination.
We've talked briefly about how sometimes their hero pools need to increase for the side of Meridian Tech, and I believe this is an example of that if the Mercy is going to go down again to the Tracer first.
Well, we're going to kick off this team fight with a Genji ult, but we'll simply get flashbang and taken down by Eternal Flame as Despacito will enter things in with the pulse bomb onto Daydream, but Judge is there with a 3-piece of his own, mowing down the members of Meridian Technical, quickly followed by Despacito getting another 2-piece.
If you're the Mercy and you're eliminated first 2 fights in a row by the Tracer, you need to swap off at this point. This is one of Meridian Tech's biggest weaknesses, their unwillingness to swap off of individual heroes that they are very skilled at, but sometimes those individual heroes just don't work, especially against a team like the Everest with a Tracer that absolutely will punish you.
Yeah, and if we look at the side of the ult economy as well, Meridian Technical is getting their 2 support ults online, but the Everest have both the Transcendence and the Mines.
And as we're looking into this next fight, Meridian Technical, Daydream might be able to save themselves with a Mercy ultimate and not go down first, but if they do, that kind of spells defeat for their team like they did the last 2 fights.
Well, Panda Squad's going to make sure to target prioritize both Fem Neptune and Daydream as both those members get taken down. Despacito with a great pulse bomb is going to take down Eternal Flame as well as Pyrobix as Panda Squad gets another 2-piece onto Big Boofus and Soup, so all eyes are on the DPS of Everest's.
Last fight territory for Meridian Technical here. I don't think they will even be able to touch the point for a team fight. They will be scattered at best, especially because this Diva Bomb is going to get launched as they're trying to get here.
Yeah, so they try to engage that last moment, but the ults were in the Everest's favor with that Transcendence. The Valkyrie came out from Meridian Tech, and they were not able to get there in time. So as we head over to map 2 of Nepal, what are you hoping to see Meridian Technical change other than the Mercy?
Some other things that you could do if you're Meridian Technical is swap to a McCree or play with the McCree on your Mercy, expecting the Tracer to come there. There are and they still have that McCree, which is good and exactly what you want. Meridian Technical's changing the hands for which they go to with the Cole Cassidy there. But that's definitely what you want, especially if you're going against a Tracer on your support. And you need to play differently than you normally would.
Yeah, so now with Eternal Flame back on the Doomfist, Daydream was the only person on their team not to change heroes. Big Boofus and Fem Neptune swapping that tank role, whereas we look on the side of the Everest, they're sticking to what they know is successful, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meridian Technicals could definitely learn from that as this team fight is kicking off, and just standing in a line will give them all the free damage they need as Panda Squad gets the first elimination onto Fem Neptune. Roadhog not able to provide the cover that they needed, and then that will lead to Chuma's Fum taking down Big Boofus as well as Panda Squad taking down Soup, and already Meridian Technicals getting pushed back into their spawn as Panda Squad takes down Soup.
They've solved the first problem of their support going down first, which is great for the side of Meridian Tech. That's exactly what you're looking for. There has been improvement between last map and this map. The problem they're having now is dealing with the Everest aggressiveness, which is exactly the problem that the Everest were having prior to this.
Yeah, so as Daydream gets the res from Eternal Flame, who is not even 2 feet out of the spawn door, we also looking at the ult economy of Despacito and Chuma's Fum. I'm expecting those ults to come out. Are you as well?
We're expecting the Everest to go hyper-aggressive, use any ultimates that they get, and I expect the Genji Blade to come out as soon as it gets, and possibly a Tracer ult in rotation.
Yeah, they already have the self-destruct. Tracer ult is coming online. Meridian Technical looking for an opening, but pushing very slow and just taking a ton of poke as Eternal Flame gets the first elimination onto Panda Squad. The Wrecking Ball went right into the team and actually will get eliminated by Fem Neptune. But Despacito there with another great pulse bomb right onto Pyromix. But Daydream is there with the res as the Tracer had to back off. So instead the Diva Bomb will come out and only take out the Immortality field as finally Meridian Technical's getting on the aggressive and eliminating members of the Everest. The Deadeye will come out, but lead to no eliminations. And as you mentioned, that Genji Blade comes right out onto the back of Soup and will take him down as Pando opens up onto Pyromix and takes them down quickly, followed by not Doomfist taking down on Eternal Flame, and Panda Squad getting one more into Big Boofus. Chuma's Fum taking out Fem Neptune, and that's the push for Meridian Technical destroyed.
Meridian Tech wasn't ready for the Genji to respawn and use their blade. They were able to subvert it the first time because they got the immediate elimination on the Genji as soon as they got their blade, but they weren't counting on the Genji returning into the fight for the respawn.
Yeah, Despacito on this Tracer is a huge issue for Meridian Technical, and it seems that Eternal Flame is going to swap off that Doomfist over to the Junkrat.
With the Junkrat, I expect this to be, they're trying to be anti-flank with the Junkrat, and what they want to do is go indoors on the point. You definitely don't want to fight out in the open here against Genji and Tracer as a Junkrat.
Yeah, the Meridian Technical does have their tools. This is where you want to press it because we only have 95% left until the Everts take it. And so Eternal Flame's going to get the first elimination onto Panda Squad, which is a good start, but not. Doofus is there to take out Fem Neptune, is followed by Judge, taking them down. Meridian Technical didn't even touch the point, and the Everts, a clean sweep on this first map in this best of 3.
And that seems to be a repeat, Meridian Tech being unable to touch the point because they're not able to get there fast enough. Sometimes in those things where you only have like 5% left to get to the point, you should swap to a Lucio and try to get there faster. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to touch.
Yeah, they started things off with that Lucio, but combined with the Mercy, they were just kind of stuck in that hallway for very long and didn't just push into the Everts like they needed to. So at least they had a chance to win that fight. But at the same time, they were taking one shield tank with a Roadhog. They needed to change up that comp.
The problem wasn't necessarily the shield tank with the Roadhog. The problem was if you're going to run a shield tank and a Roadhog, you definitely don't want Lucio Mercy as your main supports there. They're not going to be able to, support because they don't have that much healing.
Yeah, so what are you hoping to see change as we head into this possible second and last match in this best of 3 between Meridian Tech and the Everts?
Meridian Technical's biggest issue has always been swapping off of heroes when they're not working. And so I would like to see a little bit of swaps there, and it looks like we're definitely going to be getting that. But these also need to be heroes that they're comfortable on, that they've spent time on, that they know how to play. Both come into play when you're playing a game like Overwatch.
Yeah, so now as we look, Daydream's still on that Mercy and Pyromix is still on the Baptiste, but this time Eternal Flame's now on the Ashe and Soup is on that Colt Cassidy, as well as Big Boof is now on the Zarya, so they do have some shielding this time around, as well as Fem Neptune on that Reinhardt. So we'll have to see if Meridian Technical will be able to hold back the Everts attack, because the Everts are coming in very aggressive. Panda Squad's back on the Hanzo.
And they do have the Ashe on defense, which is usually a solid pick for Hollywood.
Yeah, so Panda Squad back on this Hanzo is going to get a quick two-piece onto both Soup and Pyrominx. Takes that high ground as Judge jumps right onto Eternal Flame, quickly followed by Pando taking down Daydream. Panda Squad gets another two-piece, and that's the first team kill of this Rumble.
Off the back of, again, yet another Hanzo handing first point. It seems to be the trend for tonight.
Yeah, as Soup takes down Despacito. It only took them 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the board until they capped that first checkpoint. Or control point, my bad, as once again they're fighting on the roofs, but it has not led to elimination.
If you're the defenders, the roofs are the correct play, especially when the enemy team caps it with 3 minutes left to spare. You need to have that high ground, and they're giving it up, which is going to cost them.
Yeah, Panda Squad's looking for a pick, but instead Judge will get the first pick onto Eternal Flame of that Ashe, trying to take that high ground, as you mentioned. Will even disrupt the res from Daydream. The perfect timing coming out as Judge gets another elimination onto Soup. Quickly followed by Panda Squad taking down Big Boofus, Judge taking down Pyrominx. Fem Neptune is able to take down Pando, but Chamas Fam gets the refrag.
It doesn't count as you owning the high ground if there's just an Ashe sitting there by themselves.
Yeah, definitely the Everts playing into their win condition of that high dive, controlling the roofs. Daydream walking out by themselves will get taken down as well.
Which makes a lot of sense, especially in the reset phase. You definitely, as a support, don't want to go in there. And now, the attacking team has taken the defenders' high ground. This is going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to break. They will need ultimates to do it.
Yeah, Meridian Technical doesn't have much verticality other than Daydream on the Mercy, but she has no way to fly up as not. Doofus takes down Pyrominx and Eternal Flame taking down Despacito. Daydream is there with the res and will be uncontested this time as Soup takes down Judge, who just dove a bit too far, but Panda Squad with the double dragons is going to get an elimination onto Eternal Flame, quickly followed by Chamas Fam taking down Eternal Flame as well. That Neptune falling down as Big Boofus takes down Panda Squad finally, so they did lose their main DPS carry, but will it be enough as Soup goes in with the Deadeye to take down not Doofus? Losing that main healer means they have a chance as Pando takes down Big Boofus, but Chamas Fam is there with the two-piece to take down Soup and Pyrominx. The last two just an all-out brawl. He has Pando takes down Daydream, Judge taking down Eternal Flame, and Pando finishes out Fem Neptune. They get that checkpoint.
And as we go to this final point here, high ground is important, but not as important as second point, so I do believe the defenders will be able to do more from the low ground, which they seem so fond of.
Yeah, Chamas Fam able to take down Soup as Jub takes down Big Boofus. Chamas Fam gets another one onto Pyrominx. It seems that Meridian Technical is just slowly trickling into the damage of the Everts.
Defenders need to hard reset right now because that's happening. Tracer's outside and spawn camping everybody.
Yeah, Despacito's definitely having a field day here as Daydream's once again going for the res, not swapping off that Mercy. They even have their ults here, but it is even ults across the board.
Graviton Surge is going to be the ultimate to watch here. I would say possibly combos with a pulse bomb, but that was just used, so it'll just have to be raw damage.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes 40 on the board as Judge takes down Daydream first, quickly followed by Despacito taking down Pyramix. That's both supports down. That's already the end of this defense as Chumbus takes down Fem Neptune. Panda Squad takes down Soup. No one's there to even recontest it, and that will be a clean push with 4 minutes and 29 seconds on the board for the Everett's, as Meridian Technical was just not able to hold them at any point in time.
You don't need the grab if you can get the elimination onto both of their supports through spawn camping.
Perks of spawn camping.
And that was ultimately what led them to an unfortunate time here on the third point. They never had the opportunity to push back because everybody was trying to do it individually, coming out up against the entirety of, almost the entirety of the Everest spawn camping. You can't break that by yourself.
So now as we head into the Everett's on defense, what are you hoping to see from the attack of Meridian Technical?
They need to be aggressive and they need to do it together. That's the only way that they're going to be able to do this. They need to pick a target and not stop until that target is either eliminated or out of range, and if out of range, you go to the next one.
Yeah, so already it seems that the team comp of the Everest with Pando now on the Mercy going to show Daydream how it's done with the help of Panda Squad on the Echo. They have a comp that can complement Mercy, so do you think that even if they do lose the first team, that they're going to stick with it?
I expect them to stick with their comp because it will probably work for them, especially with that Echo Mercy on the high ground on defense. Ball just going to go off into the atmosphere there. Sorry. And that Ana will also be able to support both the Echo and the Mercy as they're in the air. I expect this to be a very hard defense to break on, because it's spam first point Hollywood, and that's never what you're looking for if you're attacking.
Yeah, and it seems the attackers are just going to go for the Sim Brawl Maywall push, and instead Panda Squad is there to answer him with a double elimination from her right click onto Daydream and Soup, and already that push is just annihilated, getting a team kill right off the bat. That's the second team kill of the night.
This is a really strong defensive hold with spam and then a tracer to do things by yourself. If you want to tear this apart, you want to eliminate the tracer by themselves or force them to go back to their team so that they can't flank you, and then you want to try to focus on not the Echo in the air, but the Mercy.
So now heading into push number 2, what are you hoping to see from Meridian Technical now that Eternal Flame's on the Widow, who got taken down right off the bat?
If you're the defenders here, you want to play to your win cons. You want to keep your Mercy safe, and you want to keep spamming from that high ground. You give the high ground up if significant pressure is applied, but other than that, you stay up there.
So the Meridian Technical is going to go in right into that push, but we can see the target priority of Panda Squad going right into Daydream, but instead Despacito will get the first elimination onto Pyrominx, so losing that main support, or all eyes are going to be on Daydream with that Baptiste, so instead Neptune's going to end up falling to not Doofus. Controlling this high ground is how they are winning this fight as Judge takes down Big Boofus, and already that's the fight over.
We talked a little bit about high ground on second point, and high ground on first point is just as important. If you're the attackers, you're not going to win this unless you take the high ground.
Yeah, and Panda's even going for the res on Despacito, showing Daydream how it's done as Judge takes down Soup. These early picks as they're spawn camping. The Everett's definitely know how to hold Hollywood here as Meridian Technical's regrouping for this next push.
You probably want the Echo duplicate this next push onto the Zarya. That would be huge for them, and that could be fight winning by itself.
Yeah, they have the advantage in the ult economy, so there comes the duplicate, as you mentioned, right onto the Reinhardt. Panda Squad is trying to get an elimination, but said that Doofus will get the first one onto Soup, quickly followed by Fem Neptune taking down Despacito, as Fem Neptune also eliminates the duplicate, and a great shatter is going to come out, but only Judge will be able to take down Daydream as Eternal Flame now on the Sombra will take down Chama's Fem. The Deadeye will come out as Panda Squad takes down Fem Neptune with that beam. Panda's even there with the res onto Chama's Fem, so the Everett's are refusing to lose a single member with this Mercy res, as Judge even takes down Big Boofus.
This is something most Echo players do, is they go into the enemy to solo ult, use their ultimate by themselves, and that's never the play as an Echo. It's never going to work out for you, and so this is no exception.
So heading into this possible last defense, they have a minute 15 on the board. If this fight is drawn out, it could be the last, but we should see at least maybe 2 or 3 team fights here. So what are you hoping to see from these ults as it's an equal 2-2?
If you're the attackers, you're hoping for your Sombra to land the EMP of their life and everybody to be able to capitalize on, probably with Nano on run.
Well, instead, Despacito's going to get a 2-piece onto Soup and Daydream, quickly followed by Judge taking down Fem Neptune, not Doomfist taking down Eternal Flame, and Despacito getting a third onto Pyrominx.
As we're up into last fight territory, that ultimate that they need is likely going to be online for this next fight. If they're unable to charge it, they don't have a chance here, especially with that Sigma holding Gravitic Flux.
Yeah, Meridian Technical still holding on to that amplification matrix as well as the Nano. So what are you hoping to see from both the Bongo and the Gravitic Flux? But instead, Panda Squad is just going to get the first elimination on the Daydream.
You don't need to use Gravitic Flux if their Baptiste is in spawn. That's an accurate point.
Yeah, Samba even trying to tell her the wall will not be able to get. Instead, we'll just get Nanoed. We'll go for the MP, land up to 3 members. We'll get taken down immediately by Judge as Neptune gets the elimination on to Despacito. Not Doomfist will take down Soup, but Judge is on a 4 kill streak eliminations right now. Taking down Big Boofus and Fem Neptune will finally get broken as Panda Squad takes down Daydream from spawn. But a very clean defense by the Everett's, winning them that control.
The attackers panicked before they needed to and nanoed the Sombra instead of nanoing something like Zarya and Reinhardt, and that completely ruined their push.
Yeah, so an excellent hold by the Everett. It's Meridian Technical hold not able to pull it together. So what are some things that hopefully they can change going forward? And of course, here at Esports Tower, we know that you can only go at it alone. It can only make you go so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. Meridian Technical has definitely been working on that, as we just saw in the last play, trying to get consecutive pushes, and Fem Neptune getting a lot of those eliminations as well as the main tank is not what you want to see. You want to see the DPS players getting it. So you can see how talented they are, and Esports Tower really takes time to create teams of well-matched teammates. And of course, I'd like to shout out the coaches, and if you haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs already, you should. It's a fast track to rank up. Well, as we get ready to head into our third match before the grand finals, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. So we'll be right back after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. We are broadcasting it here from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena, and we are headed into round 3 of the group stage, where we will find out who will face off against the Everetts in the grand finals. Both the Monsoons and Meridian Technical lost to the Everetts. Now they will face off for a shot at the rematch. Who will come to the top and head into the grand finals? We'll have to wait and see. I am your host, Brenner Bear Ladd, and joining with me to call all of the action is Colby D'Angelo Alloway. So as we're heading into to this final group stage matchup. What are you hoping to see from these two teams to allow them to take on the Everett's in this grand finals?
There are two main things that teams have been struggling with tonight. One of them is ultimate usage and the correct usage thereof, and the other one is aggression as a team. And so I expect both of those to have to improve if they're going to challenge anybody and win.
Yeah, we saw a huge issue with Meridian Technical not swapping off their team comp when they really needed to. And then if we look on the side of the Monsoons, who played very well, were just barely not able to hold off the Everett's, but they were able to win a couple team fights. So now with them going up against each other, what are you hoping to see from them coming out of this when they have to rematch the Everett's in the grand finals?
Aggression is only effective if you're doing it as a team and on the same target. It's absolutely worthless if you just as a single player walk into the enemy team. At that point, it's not aggression, it's feeding. And people need to understand that, especially if you're on a more mobile hero. If you go in, Monkey is a prime example. If you go in as Monkey by yourself, you're playing it wrong. You need to have somebody with you.
Yeah, and of course we want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower Club members who have graduated from the clubs and been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower Club members have received over $1.2 million in scholarships awards. These students have not only worked hard in their in-game play, but worked hard academically and have earned these scholarship opportunities. We could not be more excited and proud of all of these opportunities these players are getting. So as we get ready to head into this final round 3 of the group stage, these players are going to need all the help they can get, and we can help provide that through Doc's Keys to the Game. And in Overwatch, that is to understand your comp/play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and of course the objective is greater than kills. And these are presented today by the Esports Tower, where you can score pro advice at esportstower.com, improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're getting ready to jump into the Monsoons taking on Meridian Tech, and we're here on Oasis. Both teams are looking to get revenge against the Everett's as they face off in round 3 matchup. The winner will advance to the grand finals and get a second chance to defeat the Everett's. Let's see who will get it done and can stay alive in week 2 Rumble.
We have the Far Mercy for the side of Meridian Technical, which is something that we were 100% expecting. But this is also a map that will be able to enable that Far Mercy. The Everett's are in trouble with that Echo and Tracer if Echo's unable to counter.
Yeah, we saw last week the Meridian Technical got so close last week, so we'll see if they can pull it out as the teams merge. But Daydream and Eternal Flame back on that Far Mercy combo, having to go up against Dragon Shadow on this Echo. They're going to need to contest this high ground as Dragon Shadow's holding it, and will get the first elimination against Big Boofus. Soup is going to take down Shadow Soul as well, so right now we're even 5-5, as not even capping the point, barely edging it out. Monsoons will end up getting the first point and jumping right on to Daydream as Holy Chub taking down Fem Neptune. Great first fight.
And that first fight was won off the course of they all went in together. They're on mobile heroes. It looks like the Far Mercy is not an issue for the Echo, partially because they were playing on the ground.
So as you were waiting for Meridian Technical's next push and even swapping off the Pharmacy, what are you hoping to see from Daydream to make this Mercy valid?
It's not anything in their play that's making things invalid, because ultimately you can't necessarily get up in the air as Mercy if your Pharah is in the mid to low ground. What Meridian technically needs to do is their Sigma, despite that lost fight, went to 68 on their Gravitic Flux, now 75 with just a couple of hits. They're going to want to play off the cups of that, because that's going to be one of the first ultimates to charge.
Well, BBQ is going to jump right into the backline as Eternal Flame takes down the Holy's mech. Instead, Dragon Shadow will also get the first elimination onto Daydream once again as Eternal Flame takes down BBQ in that backline. So now the duplicate's going to come out from Dragon Shadow onto the Sigma, and Lucky Chu will end up taking down Fem Neptune as well. So now the Gratific Flux is going to come out, but will get eliminated before it can be executed as Soup finishes off Shadow Soul, and that's might be the end of the push as they're still brawling on point. Meridian Technical trying to keep this alive as they do end up losing their main heals after Soup takes down Lucky Chu and Holy Chub takes down Pyrominx, but Dragon Shadow will take down Soup as well as Eternal Flame. So with no DPS, Meridian Technical's last Roadhog is on the point. I think Daydream's trying to keep them alive, but will end up getting taken down.
If you're an Echo and you ult by yourself, it's likely that you're not going to get value. And now Meridian Technical is up here with the massive ultimate advantage here with 4 to the Monsoons 3. Almost 4 with the side of, with the Brig ult charging here. Sigma ult is what you want to watch.
So now Fem Neptune leading the charge with BBQ. As you mentioned, going right in on the Terrific Flex, making sure to focus down Lucky Chu will not lead to any eliminations, but instead Eternal Flame is there to pick up the slack and take down Dragon Shadow as well as Lucky Chu, with the Holy Chub using that Diva Bomb to take down Sue. So now Eternal Flame trying to even things out with C Squared. Eternal Flame on a tear right now with this Reaper, taking down Shadow Soul as well as Big Boof is taking out Holy Chub. Meridian Technical wins the fight.
And they did so with only one of their 4 ultimates, which is great. This next fight, what you're going to want to watch out for is either the Death Blossom or the Whole Hog. Those ultimates should not be used in the same fight or at the same time.
Yeah, they had to use everything they had to win that fight. It was 99% overtime. So now, what are you hoping to see from the Monsoons to retake this point and just get a clean sweep here?
If you want to retake this point, you're going to want to probably pick the Reaper, who will probably be on the flank before they can use that Death Blossom, and then do something to negate the Whole Hog. They have an on a sleep, so they can 100% do that, as long as it doesn't get blocked or eaten by Sigma.
Yeah, also a lot of eyes are going to be on that Diva to try to eat it up the best they can, but looking for a good engage for BBQ to jump on and use that Primal Rage as well. But instead, Soup will get the first elimination of the Dragon Shadow. That solo Echo, no Pocket Mercy, will end up getting picked off. So now Eternal Flame's going in, like you mentioned, with that Death Blossom, but will actually get stunned out of it thanks to Lucky Chu. So now this is where Monsoons should get aggressive with that rally right into that Soup's Deadeye. Will zone him out, not able to get value, but instead Daydream now on the Ana will get the nade elimination onto Shadow Soul, the Nano onto BBQ so he can jump right in, keep him alive. Already falling very low, will have to use the Primal Rage just to stay alive. Tries to go for the Gratific Flux, will just get stunned out of it and knocked off the map. BBQ barely staying alive with these fantastic jumps thanks to the Primal Rage. Will also even eliminate Soup, quickly followed by Pyromanx, finally getting a refrag for his team onto Lucky Chu, but it will not be enough as Holy Chub takes down Eternal Flame. Dragon Shadow takes down Daydream. This is looking like a very good fight for the Monsoons as the duplicate even comes out.
Meridian Technical was unable to use a single ultimate to great effect that fight, and that's amazing on the side of the attackers there. They were able to stun out the Reaper ultimate and the Sigma ultimate and then knock him off of the edge.
Yeah, so now Soup's going to go in and eliminate C Squared, but Holy Chub and Dragon Shadow are going to take off the remaining members, along with BBQ taking down Soup on that Tracer, trying to just trickle in on the point, keeping that overtime alive the best they can. Going in, Dragon Shadow's going to end up meleeing Daydream to take them out, but all eyes are on Big Boom. Is the last one on the point, trying to keep things alive as the Wrecking Ball, but will not be able to sustain. And Meridian Technical will barely not be able to get there. They got up to 84%.
Shoutouts got to go to C Squared there for canceling not one, but 2 ultimates from 2 different players in a single fight. The Death Blossom was stunned, and so too was the Sigma ultimate. Fantastic. All around great job.
Yeah, and as we're getting the replay here of Dragon Shadow, duplicating onto the Roadhog, getting the Whole Hog, and getting elimination with the Whole Hog. Definitely some of the best Echo plays we have seen tonight. But as we head to the indoor map, we're going to see a bit of a comp swamp here, so walk us through that.
Everybody's off of the Echo, which is good because nobody was using Echo ultimate to any great effect, and you want to be able to use a hero's ultimate effectively, especially if it's something like Echo. There is the return of the Reaper, so I do expect some cheeky flanks and a lot more damage than people are expecting there. And both sides have a Baptiste, so it'll be up to whose MO goes out first and better.
Yeah, it's also the battle of the Zarya, so all eyes are going to be on the 2 off-tanks of who can outperform each other, but already a great Maywall is going to wall off Big Boof as it lead to the main tank going down for Meridian Technical. And as Dragon Shadow takes down Daydream's Immortality, who was not even able to save Big Boof, as they're going to have to back off already.
If your main tank is walled, you need to be able to get up and get the Immortality field down and tell the main tank which way to go as a Baptiste. If you fail, your main tank dies.
Yeah, so now it's just exchanging poke, trying to build ultimates as quick as possible, and Lucky Chu's already at 90%.
And as we go into this next ultimate fights, it does look like Meridian Technical has the advantage on the grab, which will be another huge ultimate for them.
Yeah, so going to open things up with the Amplification Matrix coming out from Lucky Chu, but Dragon Shadow will end up getting that right-click headshot onto Daydream. So that main support down means Meridian Technical will not be able to push as ideally as they want, but instead Dragon Shadow will also eliminate Soup. So Meridian Technical just getting picked apart.
It does seem like Meridian Technical Zarya is getting more value, partially because of all these lost fights. You don't want to ult when you're down somebody.
Yeah, and the Great Maywell will even prevent all of the damage coming out there, so instead Dragon Shadow will answer it with the Blizzard. Will end up freezing from Neptune, but instead they look the wrong direction, and it will just let the Fem Neptune burn down the Dragon Shadow from behind as Big Boofus takes down Shadow, so both Daydream taking down Holy Chubb, who did end up using their grab, but were not able to get any eliminations because they were facing the wrong direction as Fem Neptune takes down Lucky Chew, Soup taking down BBQ, Daydream taking down C Squared, and Meridian Technical, a very clean fight.
Not off the back of the grab, just off the back of pure individual skill. As we go up into this next fight, the sound barrier is probably going to want to be used as an aggressive sound barrier, or you want to use it to counter the Orisa Bongo.
Yeah, at the same time, Eternal Flame has that Death Blossom, and Soup's looking for a cheeky Deadeye to take down at least 1 to 2 members, but BBQ now also has the Shatter online, so you know Meridian Technical is going to have to watch out for that incoming as the Amplification Matrix also comes online. A Great Maywell trying to wall them off, will not end up getting it, and the Shatter comes out, not landing onto any members as Dragon Shadow takes down Pyrominx. Quickly followed by Lucky Chew taking down Soup, but an amazing Eternal Flame Death Blossom taking down 4 members, both support hordes, a DPS and a tank falling, make that a 5-man, and that's a team kill off the back of Eternal Flame.
And Death Blossom is not usually something that you can sound barrier or defensive ultimate because there's so much damage, especially with sound barrier, you'll get eliminated before you get to finish your animation.
So all eyes were on Shadow Soul for that, and they were not able to carry through. But now with the ultimate economy being equal across the board, and Fem Neptune just now getting grab online, what are you hoping to see here?
The team grab, but you need to be able to capitalize on it. Immortality Field goes down, which is great, and the Moriko comes out, and that's looking like an almost team kill there.
Yeah, so instead it's going to be another team kill for Meridian Technical with that Coalescence, and they still have the Bongo in their back pocket.
The Bongo has been the least important ultimate to use so far just because the Death Blossom came out, and then immediately after that the grab. But now the Mei has their own Blizzard coming up, and that's something that you definitely want to charge and use, preferably before the point hits the 100.
Yeah, so they're going to automatically use that Bongo right off the bat to make sure that Monsoons don't get to leave their spawn, and we're approaching that final 100%. We're at 93, soon to be 95, so they're going to have the Lucio speed boost right into the face of Meridian Technical, so the Deadeye's going to come out, can't burn through both barriers. Big Boofus is just going to run Shadow Soul down and take them down, as Pyrominx is also able to take down the main tank of BBQ as Fem Neptune wins the 1v1 of Zarya's against Holy Chubb, as Lucky Chew takes down Big Boofus, but the Blizzard from Postmortem, Dragon Shadow takes down Soup after getting taken down by Eternal Flame, but they are not able to contest the point in time, and Meridian Technical takes it. We are heading into round 3 of Control on Oasis.
The biggest problem that the Monsoons were having that map is being able to use ultimates to any value whatsoever. They lost that with Grav and Blizzard. Both fight-winning ults without being charged and without being used.
So now as we head over to the third and final map where high ground is a lot more viable here, what are you hoping to see from these team comps?
I expect to see people going up to the high ground and being able to use the high ground instead of avoiding it and just giving it to the enemy team. That's never something that you want to do, especially if you have people like the Ana that could take advantage of the high ground, or like the Echo, or like the Cole Cassidy.
Also, Echo without a Pocket Mercy going up against Eternal Flame still on the Reaper, and Soup still on the Cole Cassidy.
The Reaper is usually not that big of a threat as an Echo, especially if you take advantage of the high ground. That's one of the reasons why you want to take high ground as Echo. But the Cole Cassidy is going to be a problem no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, both teams trying to go for that elevator to get that high ground play. Hey, instead they're going to get the 3-man anti, so that forces out the Immortality Field of Daydream, so that is now out of pocket. Now Pyrominx will get slept, but immediately woken up, thanks to probably the spread shot of Holy Chubb. But BBQ's life bar so low, will finally get taken down by Fem Neptune now on the Zarya, quickly followed by Eternal Flame, taking down Shadow Soul, so losing that main tank as well as main DPS. Dragon Shadow, the only one left alive for the DPS role of that Tracer, so this is where Meridian Technical gets aggressive and pushes them back to spawn.
And that's exactly what you're looking for here if you're Meridian Technical. The ultimates that are coming online is we have halfway to Death Blossom, which is a big ultimate, but we have, more impressively, the grab from Meridian Technical in a single fight. Fantastic Zarya play by Fem Neptune to be able to charge it that fast.
Yeah, and Big Boofus here with the poke from spawn. Hits another 2-piece on to 2 members of Monsoons, just buying them that much more time as we're passing the 25%.
There is no point to peeking out of spawn by yourself if the enemy is looking at it. All you're going to do is cost your team time.
especially against an Orisa who can just spam it with that 150 shot and the health bar. But a great pulse bomb by Dragon Shadow's going to land onto the Orisa and eliminate Daydream, quickly followed by BBQ, jumping onto Fem Neptune, Shadow Soul taking down Pyromanx, Holy Chub taking down Big Boofus, and BBQ taking down Soup. A clean engage and fight from the Monsoons.
Meridian Technical gets off their comfort heroes, and then they start to wreck some people with appropriate comps, and that's absolutely what's happening here. And they still have the grab in their back pocket to use whenever they feel like it. And the Monsoons have absolutely nothing to counter that other than to eat it because they have no defensive ultimates. However, on the side of the Monsoons, that Echo ultimate charging up there somewhat slowly is going to be their big ultimate to look out for.
Yeah, they do have that Primal Rage online, but all eyes are going to be for this grab, as well as possibly the Amplification Matrix to get those eliminations from the grab. But Monsoons have that high ground, and it seems that they're just going to leave it and go for the engage with Eternal Flame, actually getting the first elimination onto C Squared, quickly followed by Shadow Soul taking out Big Boofus. So trades coming out, but Soup going to engage with the Deadeye. Will pick up Dragon Shadow, quickly followed by Eternal Flame taking down Lucky Chew. So they are going to lose both supports in this final fight, so the Monsoons are just going to have to stall here as they were only able to get 43%. Meridian Technical takes it back.
And Meridian Technical has the ultimates to continue to defend this, as they have almost every ultimate on the board. If you're the Monsoons, what you're looking to do is you want to eliminate the Reaper when they go for the Death Blossom, probably a cheeky flank, and if they're comboing it with the grab, you absolutely have to eat the grab. So most of these ultimate counters are going to come down to the D.Va.
Yeah, so now it is 5-1 for the ult economy. Shadow Soul so close to that duplicate, same with Lucky Chew on that rally.
You definitely want to watch the Echo duplicate, because that's going to be the ultimate that gets them sometime.
Yeah, and another huge anti coming out, landing onto 3 members, 2 of them being the support, and a great grab coming out here for Fem Neptune will lead to the elimination of BBQ as well as Shadow Soul and Lucky Chew as Eternal Flame finishes off C Squared, running for their lives. We're at 90% here, and Monsoons don't have enough time unless they just go full dive here to get to the point on time.
Meridian Tactical just ults better, and that's what this map has come down to.
Yeah, so with the final 2%, it doesn't seem like the Monsoons will get back in time, even with the Wrecking Ball speed. So Meridian Technical will come out and have to rematch the Everests in the grand finals, but a definitely hard fought by both sides because it was constantly back and forth.
The biggest thing that came out of this was ultimate charging and ultimate usage. Meridian Technical did it better. They charged the grab almost in a single fight, which is huge because Graviton Surge is usually an ultimate that takes longer to charge, and so if you're able to do that in a single fight, a fight that you also lost, that is perfect. That is exactly what you're looking for. And then they were able to use the grab to great effect. The biggest thing was Meridian Technical was cycling ults faster and using them better.
So as we head into taking on the Everest round 2, what are you hoping to see from both these teams to try to prove that they can take on the Everest in the grand finals? And we're even headed over to a favorite map of ours, Dorado.
If people are going to keep playing the Echo, I'm going to expect them to get value out of an Echo ult, which so far we have not seen because the Echo goes off and tries to ult by themselves, and that's not what you want to do if you're an Echo.
Yeah, especially an Echo without a Pocket Mercy, so all eyes are going to be on C Squared to keep them alive.
And Daydream is back on that Mercy for the side to pocket their own Echo, which is usually what you want to see. So the assumption is that Soup will charge their ultimate faster than the other Echo.
Hopefully, but already Dragon Shadow is up to that 15%, so a lot of pokes just going to get exchanged here as the Monsoons are up on that high ground defense. Battle of the Echoes is coming in, and Daydream's not anywhere to be seen to pocket that Echo so far.
And that is a problem if you have a Pocket Mercy, but your Mercy doesn't pocket you, with the first elimination going out onto Cole Cassidy with the immediate reds.
Yeah, playing very defensively, trying to hold up to the high ground, so now the card's still getting a lot of free momentum here, but the Monsoons now on this defense doing their, or Meridian Technical now on the defense, sorry, that is my fault. All able to get another elimination onto Frozen Phoenix here as the main tank falls. Radius Boss will finally get the remake, but Shadow Soul taking down Eternal Flame and Radius Boss taking down Fem Neptune. This is a brawl here as the Tracer's just in the backline uncontested.
Soup is losing the battle of the charging Echo ultimates, and it might end up costing them here. However, that Reinhardt with the Shatter on the side of Meridian Technical might be a big deal.
Yeah, Soup is able to demech Radius Boss, but C Squared is able to take down Big Boofus, so that main tank role hole is left vacant, and the Monsoons can just freely continue to push this car hard, even getting the first checkpoint. Now 5 minutes on the board. It's exactly what you want to see if you're the Monsoons on this aggressive push as C-Squared takes down Feb Neptune again. So it seems this Ana is on an anti-tank roll as Radius Boss is able to even take down Eternal Flame. But look at the ults on the side of both teams as Monsoons only have 2 and Marine Technical has 4.
Whichever Echo uses their ultimate better is going to win their team a fight. That's how this is going to go. The Earth Shatter could be comboed with the Deadeye. We've seen that happen tonight to great effect. So I'm expecting one of those 2 combos to come out to win a fight, and possibly a Nano onto a Monkey diving in the backline. Ideally onto that Mercy.
Well, Soup's doing their best to try to clear this high ground of both tanks for the Monsoons, as no tanks are actually on the cart to defend their team. They're just trying to clear that high ground as the duplicate actually comes out onto Ana of all people, which is interesting to say the least. And so Dragon Shadow will burn that down, but instead Shadow Soul will end up losing their life. So they are down a member, but Tracer can come back quick enough. The cart only about halfway there with 4 minutes left on the board. It's going to seem like it's an odd stall waiting for Shadow Soul to come back.
Monsoons need to use that Egg Ultimate and that Nano. They've been sitting on them for several fights, and both of them have the potential to turn a fight. Huge Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb taking out Eternal Flame, could fall by the duplicate onto the Reinhardt, will just get charged, pinned out, but Daydream is there with the res onto Eternal Flame as Soup takes down Shadow Soul once again, as Frozen Phoenix also takes down Neptune. These tanks going back and forth. A Shadow attempt did come out, only landed onto one, I believe, as Frozen Phoenix takes down the Neptune once again.
These teams are not using ultimate to great effect. We've seen several come online, we've seen several be used, and none of them have gotten value.
Yeah, the Diva Bomb gets a ton of value. Who taking out Daydream and Eternal Flame, so no res this time. This is where they start getting aggressive and pushing. No supports taking down Pyro Minx, as well as Fem Neptune falling very low, trying to finish off that Roadhog. Will not end up getting him just yet, as Frozen Phoenix takes on Big Boofus as well as Soup. Seems that Dragon Shadow without a Pocket Mercy is winning the Battle of the Echoes.
Way to make me eat my words with the Diva Bomb there immediately after saying nobody is using their ultimate to great effects. The Monsoons, however, are still holding on to that Nano that they've had since a couple minutes into this. They could have charged and used 2 Nanos in the time it's taken them to use this single one. And that Diva Bomb's back up. That Diva Bomb's almost back up, so we'll see what gets used there.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes left on the board for the Monsoons to push to this final checkpoint. Finally, the Nano comes out onto the Winston, but will not use the Primal Rage. Instead, Dragon Shadow is there with the melee onto Eternal Flame with no teammates to protect them at all. So instead, Dragon Shadow is just going to go on a tear and take down Fem Neptune with the beam, burning him down. But Pyromix is going to answer that with the Coalescence, taking down Shadow Soul. The Nano Monkey is having a time of his life as the duplicate comes out onto the Monkey, who then also Primal Rages. Daydream's there with the rest to bring back Fem Neptune. But Meridian Technical trying to keep this defense alive, so instead they will just go for the sleep as Dragon Shadow beams down Soup, winning that Battle of the Echoes, and now it's going to go for the duplicate onto the Roadhog as the whole hog from Fem Neptune comes out to take down Frozen Phoenix. Trying to hold out this final push will get shattered instead. Still in that duplicate form, will finally get taken down as Dragon Shadow uses their own whole hog to take down the Roadhog, but the rest is there from Daydream as Eternal Flame takes down the duplicate. Shadow Soul is there with another great pulse bomb onto Big Boofus, removing that main tank. Soup is there to finally counter Shadow Soul once again. And it is just constant trade between these two teams as Dragon Shadow takes down Fem Neptune. Gotta give me a break as Pyrominx finally takes down Dragon Shadow.
And it looks like that fight is mostly done as the attackers are kind of running out of bodies to throw out to the massive respawn advantage here. Cole Cassidy is going to go down.
Yeah, Frozen Phoenix able to get that elimination as Eternal Flame finally utilizes the Reaper to take down Frozen Phoenix. Daydream's there with the res as Fem Neptune continues to push forward and take down Lucky Chew. Finally, the Monsoons are going to have to go for a hard reset.
And they should have gone for the hard reset much earlier. They cost themselves about 30 seconds because the fight was lost, but they kept coming back into there. However, the Diva Bomb is back up, which is one of the only ultimates we've seen that has been used to great effect, with the exception of a Shatter. That Shatter was also huge onto the ulting Roadhog. So we'll see which tank can ult better here, because those seem to be the big two. However, the Reaper ultimate is the one that, on paper, you should be looking out for.
Yeah, Radius Boss is going to try to eat up as much as they can of that, as well as Lucky Chew stun it out or the on a sleep. But it seems Frozen Phoenix is looking for an engage here, charging up that Primal Rage as fast as he can, but Eternal Flame's waiting for that cheeky Death Blossom as soon as they push through. Will end up leading to the elimination of Fem Neptune by Radius Boss as Eternal Flame takes down Frozen Phoenix, as well as Soup taking down Dragon Shadow, who's been doing very well on that Echo.
Good job on the Reaper for getting the sleep out before they choose to use their ultimate, and at this point it's not necessarily necessary because people have backed off. But that Reaper understands that there are several people that could stun them and put this to a stop, and so I expect them to be able to get value out of kind of subverting those.
Yeah, Eternal Flame trying to pull off some attention on that high ground. Right now Monsoons are just looking for an opening.
And the opening they're going to provide for themselves is they take the high ground there and force everybody on the defending side into the low ground. Expect a Reaper ultimate to come out within the next couple seconds. That's bad.
Yeah, great Diva Bomb taking down Daydream, no less, means no res and no main support. As Shadow Soul also takes down Big Boofus, but there goes the duplicate for Dragon Shadow. But Eternal Flame in the back lane with a great Death Blossom taking down both supports for the Monsoons. This could be the end of their push unless they're able to sustain.
And that's what you needed as the Reaper. You needed to get that because you were down a couple.
And instead, he will end up losing his life to Radius Boss on this Diva as Big Boofus and Soup come in from spawn, taking down Shadow Soul and Dragon Shadow. Soup also on this Doomfist doing much better, taking down Radius Boss as Frozen Phoenix is able to take down Daydream once more. But with only 7 seconds on the board, it seems Monsoons are going to be able to hold.
They're unable to get to that card there, and it looks like at this point, if this is a staggered fight. This is not a big team fight. This is people throwing bodies on the point.
Yeah, it's all out brawl here as Soup is able to take down T-Squared and knock away Lucky Chew, but Dragon Shadow is going to end up eliminating Big Boofus as Eternal Flame gets a 2-piece of his own, taking down Frozen Phoenix and Dragon Shadow. Daydream is there with the res for Big Boofus, leading to the elimination of Lucky Chew as Shadow Soul finally takes down Eternal Flame. So losing that main DPS might be it. Soup is doing their best to eliminate Radius Boss out of this Diva mech and will get the Meteor Strike kill onto the baby Diva. So finally, Meridian Technical gets the hold. But the Monsoons got a whole 76.86 meters on that third and final checkpoint.
Not a bad push. Stopped immediately out of spawn is usually what's going to happen on a map like Dorado, just because their respawns are so close.
Yeah, so as we take a look at this replay of the Battle of the Echoes, especially for this high ground, a great Diva Bomb. This is where they just called you out and got the double elimination on Eternal Flame and Daydream. This is where the Monsoons were able to push through, get that second checkpoint into the building as well, and take a ton of space. So there's a solid push. So what are you hoping to see from their defense now?
Both teams have gotten slightly better at using ultimates, so I expect them to continue to get better at using their ultimates, especially, again, those Echo ultimates. I'm going to keep harping on it until somebody uses one with the rest of their team. On the attacking side, what you want to do here is wipe them off the high ground, especially for this first point. If you're unable to do that, you will be unable to cap.
Yeah, so the Monsoons sticking to Dragon Shadow on this Echo, who is outperforming Soup, who had the Pocket Mercy. So I think that just speaks to the high individual skill of the Monsoons. But now Shadow Soul is also expecting an Echo being on that Soldier 76.
And Soldier 76 is a great Echo counter for a variety of reasons, the biggest being that he can stay out of the range of her beam and not get immediately lasered down.
So already taking that high ground, trying to capitalize it. Eternal Flame, an attack Widowmaker.
Attack Widowmaker is likely looking for one big pick here, and then they might swap off, ideally onto the Soldier, because the Soldier is relatively unaware that they're there.
Yeah, already going up to the high ground, saw the tanks immediately. He is not even going to try to hold it. It's both Radius Boss and Frozen Phoenix looking for that dive target to just go in and get that elimination. The auto-nade attempt, but will end up leading to their own elimination. Will end up getting traded out by Dragon Shadow, taking down Eternal Flame. Hopefully we see that Widow swap off with going into a Winston and a Diva. So now Soup is trying to turn around and take down Dragon Shadow on that Echo as they take down Daydream's Immortality Field, who finally swapped off that Mercy over to the Baptiste for this attack. But the card has been relatively uncontested as it's approaching the archway. The Big Boop is taking down Frozen Phoenix, quickly followed by Dragon Shadow refragging onto Daydream.
When you eliminate their Baptiste, you win the fight. That's how these things go.
And quickly following it up, taking down Lucky Chew, trading supports here. Meridian Technical having a very solid push for this first checkpoint with only 3 minutes still on the board.
Usually a worthy trade if you can trade a Brig for a Baptiste.
Yeah, so they will get that first point pretty uncontested. They had that first strong team fight, but were not able to follow it up. So now the Monsoon's on the retreat.
And the Deadeye is up here. We've seen that comboed with Shatter, so we'll see if they can get some value out of that. The Death Blossom is nowhere near close, as he's going to go ahead and get picked out there. What you're watching for on the side of the Monsoons, though none of their ultimates are close, but probably the closest to be charged is Nano.
Yeah, so all eyes are going to be on C-Squared to get that Nano, so they at least have something to answer the Deadeye here, but instead they're just going to jump right under the car and force out the Deadeye.
Nice.
That will get the elimination onto Radius Boss, quickly followed by Eternal Flame, finishing off Frozen Phoenix. So without the two dive tanks, it's going to seem they might be able to get this push, but instead a great anti, as well as the right click from Dragon Shadow, will lead the elimination to Soup.
And that's what you want if you're the Echo. You eliminate the Cole Cassidy and you're able to freely roam as you would like. And on the side of ultimates, the Echo Duplicate is coming up, so we'll see if they'll be able to use that. Ideally, probably onto the Reaper or the Reinhardt. The Reaper's a bit more risky just because squishier hero.
So now finally pushing past that archway, gonna have to deal with this soldier who's just raining down a ton of fire, as well as the Echo, but instead Radius Boss will get into the backline and take down Soup. So now they're gonna have to turn around and brawl it out, as the Immortality Field will come out and get eliminated by Lucky Chute, quickly followed by Dragon Shadow, getting a two-piece with the beam onto Daydream and Eternal Flame. Seems Meridian Technical is gonna have to go for a reset.
Monsoons are too far away from a Nano Visor, so what they should do is Nano Echo.
They did commit that Primal Rage from Frozen Phoenix, but that did still win them the fight, so now Eternal Flame's going to swap over to the Hanzo.
Next fight, all Meridian Technical has is a Shatter and an Amplification Matrix, and usually those are not necessarily big attacking ultimates. Like, you can't use an Amplification Matrix if you don't have the high ground and if you're actively pushing forward.
Yeah, they have that Coalescence and that grab close behind at that 95%. Monsoons do have that self-destruct and duplicate and nano, but they're going to go right on top of a hero and will not get that elimination set. Soup will get the first elimination on Shadow Soul, quickly followed by Big Boof is taking down Lucky Chew. The duplicate will get eliminated, so no value there as Big Boof is making sure to stop that. Fem Neptune is able to pick up one, but Radius Boss and Frozen Phoenix getting three on their own. Both supports and the tank able to finally get that checkpoint. Now 430 on the board.
There's another Diva Bomb. This one probably won't get as much value as the other ones. And now we're watching Meridian Technical for the big ultimates to come out. They have Grab, they have Shatter, and they have an Amp Matrix.
Yeah, Baby Diva unable to get away, so hopefully we see that possibly even swapped off after using that Diva Bomb that got no value. Meridian Technical doesn't even have to push it very far to get that final checkpoint, so Monsoons are going to have the defense of their life if they want to be able to make it to the grand finals.
Meridian Technical needs to stagger their ultimate usage. This first engage, probably use Grab if you can, get the clean elimination, and then you need to save one ultimate for when the defenders reset.
Yeah, and getting the first pick onto Dragon Shadow, no less, is how you want to kick things off, but Fem Neptune's very low, so now the Deadeye is going to come out from Soup, slowly pressing those R's. As you mentioned, staggering their ults could lead to the victory here as they are able to demech and eliminate Radius Boss thanks to the help of Pyromix as well. So now the Amplification Matrix is going to come out right on top of the car. Fem Neptune's just going to get aggressive and try to burn down Dragon Shadow once again as Daydream takes down C-Squared and Lucky Chew takes down Soup. So at least they're trading here as the Monsoons are going to have to start playing out of their minds if they want to maintain this win. As Eternal Flame takes down Shadow Soul and Frozen Phoenix jumps straight onto Daydream and takes them down. So that's the main heals gone. Big Boofus is able to answer that with elimination onto Lucky Chew. Fem Neptune still in this fight at full charge, no less. But Dragon Shadow taking down his backline means he will have to retreat or get eliminated as Frozen Phoenix takes down Big Boofus and Dragon Shadow finishes him off.
They could have won that fight if Fem Neptune had used the Grab. I understand their hesitance in the face of the Diva, but all you have to do is get them out of mech. That's a simple call to your team, and then you can use the Grab and win the fight.
Yeah, and at that tail end of the fight, Pyromix was able to demech Radius Boss, who's still not able to build that up yet. So, well, this is where you want to see them get aggressive because they know she doesn't have mech.
They're probably trying to combo it with the Dragons if they waited that long for the perfect opportunity, and then they will need to save Shatter for when the team starts recontesting after the hopeful, if you're a Meridian Technical fan, wipe at the Grab Dragons.
Yeah, so Soup getting the first elimination on the Lucky Chew is the opening they needed, quickly followed by Eternal Flame. Him taking down Frozen Phoenix. They have to get on the cart and they can get the win here. So Dragon Shadow is going to have a god a tier duplicate here with the Nano. So the Nano instead will go up onto the Diva as Big Boofus takes down Shadow Soul, but Dragon Shadow's in the backline taking down Eternal Flame. We'll go for the duplicate onto the Moira no less, so we hopefully will see a Coalescence instead. They just get eliminated by Soup as Frozen Phoenix takes down Daydream's Immortality. So the Shadow will come out, leading to the elimination of Lucky Cupid. A great Diva bomb coming out from Radius Boss, taking down both Soup and Fem Neptune. Means the Monsoons are holding on to this final push as Big Boofus is knocked back to the spawn, with Pyrominx getting taken down by the two tanks.
Fem Neptune held onto their grab too long, and that might end up costing them this map. They had a multitude of opportunities to use it. Just getting two with a grab is enough.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Deadeye. You'll never get the full 6-man, so get at least 1 to 2, which could turn the tide of the fight in your favor.
And as we set up here, the Monsoons don't really have anything to answer with the grab if Meridian Tactical should choose to use it.
Yeah, they've had the ult advantage pretty much the entire time, but the Monsters have been using their ults to the advantage, kicking things up with the rally. Finally, the grab will go off as well with the double dragons, leading to 3 eliminations. Both supports and the tank gone and demeched as Big Boofus finishes off the baby Diva. Meridian Technical is looking to finish out this fight, but all eyes are on Dragon Shadow to go for the stall. So Meridian Technical will pull it out and is going to be heading on in this best of 3.
And that's what we were looking for 2 minutes ago. Better late than never, though.
Yeah, better late than never for sure. But if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure, and if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. So as we take a look at the group stage standings, the Everett's are of course here at the top, and Meridian able to barely edge it out against the Monsoons, who ended up falling down to 3rd. So Meridian Technical is going to get another shot to take on the Everett's in the grand finals. Will they be able to take them in a rematch? We will have to wait to find out after this quick break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. We are broadcasting it here from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Meridian Technical just took down the Monsoons in a crazy series, and they're now looking for a second shot at the Everest and their potential first Rumble title. Can they get it done, or will the Everest start off the winter season with a back-to-back Rumble wins? I'm still your host, Brenner Barrett Ladd. Joined with me to call all of the action is Colby D'Angelo Alloway. So as we are getting ready to head into this grand finals, what are you hoping to see from Meridian Technical to improve after losing to the Everest the first time they fought?
The biggest thing that they're going to have to do is team-based aggression. They did a couple of times, they tried to be aggressive by themselves, and they need to do it all together, or it's feeding.
No one ever wants to feed, that's for sure. And on the side of a lot of their roster and team comps, what are you hoping to see change so that they can stay a bit more flexible going up against the Everest?
Individually, Daydream does better on the Mercy, but overall, their team does better when they're the Baptiste. So, though I understand the desire to pick your comfort hero that you're better at, Baptiste is ultimately what has been winning them games.
Yeah, so hopefully we will see that trend continuing as we look at who has been competing today. The Monsoons also did very well with the combined strength of the Fire Islands and the Monsoon roster being put together for this week. They did come out on that third place, but Meridian Technical is looking to take that first place spot from the Everest, so they're going to need all the help they can get, and we can give that to them through Doc's Keys to the Game. And in Overwatch, that is to understand your comp's less play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and of course, objective is greater than kills. And these are presented today by the Esports Tower, where you can scroll pro advice at esportstower.com. You can improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. So we are getting ready to jump into this match of Meridian Technical taking on the Everest. Meridian Tech was able to take down the Monsoons and make their first grand finals of the winter. But do they have what it takes to stop the Everest, or will the Everest win back-to-back Rumbles to kick off their winter season?
If you're on defense, you're in a good spot. Most of their members have the high ground advantage, it would appear right now, as they're scouting out the enemy team and looking for some Hanzo spam.
Yeah, the Hanzo was able to do them wonders in that first matchup, so all eyes are going to be on Panda Squad, as well as Judge, who did very well in the main tank role.
And it looks like there's a cheeky little Bastion strat being set up as they teleport onto the statue.
Yeah, went for that Statue of Liberty play with Soup, but got eliminated immediately by Bonesaw, who also takes down Pyraminx, as well as Dragon Shadow getting their own two-piece onto both Big Boofus and Daydream, as Fem Neptune ends up losing their life to Chumbus Fum, who gets a two-piece of their own. Just seems consistent team members getting 2, 2, and 2.
You have to have a shield if you're going to go up on the statue, because everybody can see you and you can see everybody else, and you're just going to get immediately eliminated exactly like that if you don't have a shield.
So at least Meridian Technical is able to say, hey, that didn't work, so we're going to swap off it immediately over to Eternal Flame on the Widow and Soup on the Junkrat.
And it looks like that Widowmaker is going to get the pick value that they want in the sniper battle between Hanzo v Widow.
Yeah, Judge went for that cheeky Reinhardt play in the backpack, was not able to get it. Instead got hooked and almost Maywalled out, but is able to make it out alive. Fem Neptune went for the hook, but the shield was up the whole time, not able to burn it down in time. So this is where we want to see Meridian Technical get aggressive and take on the Everest for this first point, because they got 2 minutes 45 on the board.
And you want to use that shatter as soon as you get it, because it'll be charged in the middle of this aggressive fight.
Yeah, Judge has their shatter, and Bonesaw has his amplification matrix, so this is where we're going to see all of them come out. So instead, Daydream's going to use the first ult of this fight, as Fem Neptune gets the elimination with the help of it against Judge. So that's the main tank down, as Big Boofus gets even the Flame Strike against Bonesaw. This seems like they might be able to cast the point. As Dragon Shadow also takes down Eternal Flame, Chumbus Fum takes down Soup. They came back with aggression and get the team kill, no less.
And that Diva Bomb could be huge for this next fight as we go into here. The attacking team used all of their ultimates and were unable to cap the point, so they have nothing going into this next fight. However, defenders still have several, most notably Blizzard. You want to use that early, and you want to wall so they can't run away.
Yeah, here I thought the Meridian Technical had that fight in the bag, but the Everest came back swinging and get a team kill out of it. Absolutely phenomenal. And now the Nano's coming online for Meridian Technical.
That Blizzard is still what you're looking for, though the Diva Bomb is significant.
Yeah, instead, Panda Squad's going to open up with the double dragons and leads to 2 eliminations onto both supports, following up, taking down Eternal Flame, who tried to run back to spawn. And Chumpus Moment and Judge are going to follow it up, taking down both tanks, and that is a near second team wipe for the Everests.
Panda Squad is just insane on the Hanzo, especially on King's Row. We saw them lose a single sniper battle, but they have not lost a single thing since.
Yeah, Panda Squad definitely in their comfort pick, playing like a god as they take down Eternal Flame once again, who try to go in on them. So what are you looking for? Meridian Technical's attack already being down a member and engaging with the tire.
You don't want to engage when you're down a member, especially with ultimates.
And the tire will just get eliminated by Panda Squad, who just simply never misses the Maywall attempt, but they decide to not push forward. Instead, going to push right on the left. All eyes are on Blizzard.
Blizzard looks like it's going to get a couple members there.
Yeah, and it leads to the elimination of Judge on the Pyro Minx, and the Implication Matrix is even going to come up, but Dragon Shadow makes sure to follow up, taking down Big Poopus, as Soup finally gets an elimination onto Pando, as well as Dragon Shadow with the Bear Trap, no less, as Panda Squad gets the refrag for his teammates onto Soup, Boneside taking down Eternal Flame, and Chumpus picking up one more with Panda Squad.
It looks like Lucio and May were the price, but they will be back before this next full engage, unless the attackers decide to go right now to the point, which they should.
Yeah, Boneside even in the back lane with a cheeky pick with the Amplification Matrix is going to just get whole hogged in the back line from Neptune, but that's a free ultimate for you as Boneside gets a 2-piece onto Pyrominx and Daydream now on the Moira as Dragon Shadow takes down one more Trump. Spump gets a 2-piece, and Meridian Technical couldn't even get a tick.
I have to question the Baptiste outside of the spawn door. That could have handed them the point. It ended up not because their team was able to get the immediate eliminations after, but that very easily could have lost them first point.
Yeah, definitely some cheeky strats coming out from that defensive force of the Everest. So now, with Meridian Technical on the defense, they can't allow more than a tick.
And this was a huge Hanzo play by Panda Squad. Only 2 of the eliminations were from the Dragons, which is big. Saw them rotating through the building, knew what their win condition was, went right in there.
Yeah, it's hard not to say Panda Squad is the backbone of their team on that Hanzo. And even when they've played other characters, they seem to do just as well. Same with just normal Pando on this Lucio, doing a ton of work for their team. Now on the attack, we're going to see Panda Squad over on the Widow.
We talked about Pando being a fantastic duelist on the Lucio and being an attack frog, and I think the same is true of the Hanzo. Between the 2 of them, they can eliminate entire teams. And it looks like the Bastion strat will be attempted again, hopefully with a shield this time. Usually you want to run Sigma if you're going to try to teleport onto the statue, because Sigma's shield is much more mobile and positionable than Reinhardt or Orissa's.
Yeah, because Reinhardt can easily get bumped off. Orisa can just simply miss when she fires it. So all eyes are going to be on this tank to try to keep this Bastion alive. Essentially, we're playing Protect the President at this point.
Protect the President right outside of their spawn. I'm sure this will go gloriously.
Into a Diva, no less, but the Maywall won't be able to wall off the team and get the elimination onto Judge, but Dragon Shadow instead dove the backline and took down Daydream, so now they're lost their support and no Immortality Field. That will allow Dragon Shadow to capitalize and take down Eternal Flame. This should be a very clean push for the Everest as Boneside takes down Pyrominx, Chumpus Fum taking down Fem Neptune, Panda Squad takes down Big Boopus, and that is the first point and game. The Everest take the first map.
The Bastion right outside of spawn was 2-5 head for me, I guess, because I truly did not understand.
It was definitely an interesting play, but if it worked, they got the elimination onto Judge, but losing Daydream on the Baptiste so early on was not able to hold them out. So what are you hoping to see for map 2 from both these teams? Because we know Meridian Technical has the capabilities to win this team fight, but they're just simply getting picked off in the back line.
If you're going to run a cheeky strat like that, you need to understand the win condition of your cheeky strat. In that case, it was you get a couple picks and then you run back. You can't hold somebody in their spawn indefinitely with the setup literally 10 meters away.
Yeah, Dragon Shadow was always in the backline picking him off, and then they had to worry about Panda Squad in the front just sniping away. So they definitely had some split target priorities there. Who do you think they should have gone for?
I think the Bastion was not the play, partially because they don't understand how to play them. With the Liberty strat, they didn't understand, and with the holding right inside their spawn, they didn't. Cole Cassidy is always a pretty good hero. There's not a lot to understand there. I mean, you mostly play with your tanks, and you get the eliminations.
Yeah, so with this being a best of 3, this could be the end of the road for Meridian Technical, but they have to win this best of 3 on control for Lijiang Tower. It doesn't seem either team is going for a sim brawl strat either.
Which is a nice change of pace. Usually Symmetra is always one, and usually both teams have one. But in this case, both teams are going for completely different strats with Hanzo Cole Cassidy versus Tracer Echo.
Yeah, so once again, this Echo is going to have to get a ton of duplicate value for the Everest, as already they're getting very aggressive, and Panda will get the first elimination onto Eternal Flame, who's on a Hanzo this time around. Judge makes sure to get one more onto the second DPS of Soup on the Cole Cassidy, as Boneside takes down Pyramix, Chum is Fum takes down Daydream, no supports, no DPS. That is going to be a reset.
If you're Cole Cassidy in the backline, you need to be able to drive the ball away. That is what Judge was able to circumvent the Cole Cassidy, and that is what ended up costing them that fight.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as we are waiting for this next team fight, what are you hoping to see this Cole Cassidy go up against the Echo for?
Cole Cassidy, if they use their Deadeye correctly, which they're nowhere close to at this point, they can be able to take the Echo out of the sky at any point they so desire. But right now, the most important ultimate is probably the Tracer Pulse Bomb, though the Zenyatta ultimate is the closest on the board right now.
And we know Pando on the Zenyatta is very aggressive and can get the elimination, so that's just one more target that the Everest are going to have to worry about. How, as Meridian Technical will lose the first member to Dragon Shadow, make that a second member as Pyraminx gets taken down. How Dragon Shadow getting a 2-piece, Judge getting his own 2-piece, and Panda Squad finishing off Soup. 5 members down, that's another reset.
Being aggressive as a team when they're not expecting you to is the key to victory in Overwatch. And now Reinhardt has charged a Shatter, so expect that to be used this next fight. It'll be up to the Zenyatta on whether or not they need to use Transcendence to counter that. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, Everest definitely have the ult advantage, and they're going to make sure to utilize it, opening up with the mines right outside of the main rotations for Meridian Technical. Meridian Technical not using a single ult as Dragon Shadow takes down Pyraminx, and Boneside takes down Eternal Flame. Quickly followed by Pando taking down Daydream, Boneside taking down Soup, Pando also taking down Big Boofus, and Boneside taking from Neptune. The supports of all things were getting the most eliminations in that fight.
You're never going to get a perfect opportunity to use your ultimate, and so you need to use it, especially right now. Meridian Technical has a desperate quick push to the point, and then it will be an all-out brawl with almost all ultimates on the board.
Yeah, they at least get the first elimination, so Soup tries to lead that up with the death. Will instead get eliminated and duplicated before his death, as Dragon Shadow is just poking them down. Instead, a great Shatter will land onto 2 members, but the Demon Bomb is there to follow it up and eliminates Fem Neptune as Panda Squad takes down the Big Boofus, Dragon Shadow takes down Pyraminx, Boneside takes down Eternal Flame, and that was a very clean first map for the Everest on Lijiang Tower.
If you're looking at the ultimates at the end there, Meridian Tech, both teams had the ability to use all of their ultimates that fight. Meridian Technical didn't use 2, and I think that is part of what lost in that fight.
Yeah, they kicked it off while Whole Soup got the first elimination onto that Bonesaw, but he came back very quickly. Thanks to the speed of the rally, and it was a very clean fight as we watched that replay of the final second. So now heading indoors, do you expect they'll still stick to the Echo?
Echo is still a good choice indoors, unlike Pharah.
It seems that instead Panda Squad will now be on the Symmetra, so the return of the Sim Brawl is here, and Dragon Shadow's on that Junkrat. But going into Eternal Flame on the Cole Cassidy and Soup on the Doomfist, who do you think of the DPSs will win here?
Cole Cassidy will win that almost every time just because of their kit. If the Cole Cassidy is not countering the Doomfist, there's something wrong.
Well, that's the start of a team fight you want to see, with Big Boofus getting an amazing hook and elimination onto the Baptiste of Pando, but Dragon Shadow makes sure to refrag with that onto Eternal Flame as Big Boofus gets one more onto Boneside. No support for the side of the Everest means that Meridian Technical should be looking very good here, as Chum's will end up eliminating Pyraminx, but Daydream is still alive. Soon not able to make it back in time, will get picked off, but finally the Everests are looking very well. Even though Meridian Technical is able to get multiple picks, they just have the aggression.
We've said this multiple times. If your main healer goes down first, you lose the fight. This is no exception. And now the tire is online should it be chosen to use at any point, likely at the beginning of this next push.
Yeah, Judge even pinning down Pyraminx as Daydream takes down Child's Fum, and Dragon Shadow taking down Big Boofus. the wall coming down for Panda Squad lets them just poke into spawn that much more. Meridian Technical needs to regroup.
And regrouping inside of spawn is not a bad idea when you have Junkrat spam in the entire courtyard.
Yeah, he just needs to start using that artillery piece. Meridian Technical needs to just respect that. But Eternal Flame has that Deadeye, and Judge is going to go for a great shatter onto 3 members and eliminate all 3 of them of Soup, Daydream, Pyraminx, and making sure that they never leave their spawn, even getting the pin against her own spawn wall. And instead, Big Boofus is the only one that gets an elimination.
The disrespect, pinning killing somebody into their own spawn door. But now Meridian Technical has the ultimate advantage, but they still need to watch out for and destroy that tire. That's likely a job for the Cole Cassidy.
Yeah, and as soon as they hear the tire, the Immortality Field's going to go down, gets eliminated way too early. Dragon Shadow gets a 2-piece onto Daydream and Soup as Panda Squad takes down Eternal Flame. Boneside, even with the right-click elimination onto Big Boofus, seems Meridian Technical's not allowed to leave their spawn.
They need to use some ultimates, and they need to all come out together. This was great that they were all waiting.
Yeah, you could even solo grab just to kill that Lucio, but it seems that he's going to get eliminated by Soup right as the grab leaves the launcher. So now we're going to lead with the Deadeye and another great 5-man shatter, no less. Panda's going to get a 2-piece with the Diva Bump, knocking them out of the Immortality Field. Dragon Shadow's going to pick up some more, and that was a clean victory for the Everest, who will take a clean 2-0 sweep for the grand finals. Everest showing why they're the top team. Meridian Technical doing their best, but simply need to be pressing Q a little bit more vicariously.
It came down to aggression and ultimates on the side of the Everests. That's what they were doing correctly. They were able to push their advantages into the spawn when they were up 2 or up 3. And hopefully we'll see some... This is a fantastic echo play as we go through here. They eliminated the Cole Cassidy prior to this, had their own Cole Cassidy, and then were able to pick up several eliminations and live to secure the point. And that was really one of the only fights that Meridian Technical had, and Echo almost single-handedly subverted that.
Yeah, another issue we saw with that fight is the Hanzo used his
this was huge.
It was such a good 5-man shatter that led to all the eliminations that a lot of the supports was getting, and then the spawn wall. It's hard to watch of just, you don't get to go flying back into your spawn, you're just dead. And then Soup gets the elimination as the graph comes out, which is just, you feel bad for Feb Neptune at that point, but the Everest playing at the top of their game was fantastic to watch as Panda gets those eliminations, followed by Dragon Shadow, just back to back. The supports were really some of the top damage dealers and eliminations for that matchup. So the Everests were solid victory there and a clean 2-0 sweep for this grand final. So they won Rumble back to back. D'Angelo, your final thoughts?
We always knew that the Everests were going to be one of the top teams coming into this. They had a little bit more competition tonight than they did our previous Rumble, but ultimately they are still our reigning champions. And honestly, after watching them play, it's well deserved.
Yeah, well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure, and if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. So as we finish out tonight's broadcast, your picks for the ICCU player of the game.
My first instinct is Panda Squad, but I think Pando themselves is also worth mentioning, as well as C-Squared on the Ana, with less flashy plays, but still very impactful.
Yeah, and I would also want to highlight Judge, the main tank of the Everest, who is doing very well, setting up his team for a ton of eliminations. Getting the 5-man shatter was absolutely a pleasure to watch. So I'm very curious who ends up getting the player of the game. But also outside of the Everest, Eternal Flame on the DPS role was doing very well. Soup was getting a lot of picks when they were either sniper or trying to support their team. So a lot of good players on all of these rosters.
Judge was able to lay out the enemy team at will with the Reinhardt in front of their spawn on Lijiang, and that was one of the most impressive plays that we've seen tonight so far.
Yeah, so the DPS players are obviously going to be the huge standouts, but it is end up going to go over to Lion, who I don't remember hearing through the game all night. So as we watch So it is going to be Fem Neptune. Hearing from the production as we were watching their Zarya plays, they were doing very well for Meridian Technical. As we saw, even at the last moment, they tried to grab the Lucio for that final fight on Lijiang Tower right as Supa's eliminated them. But the off tank is someone we often skip over, but is able to set up their team like we just saw on Oasis.
Fem Neptune is a really hard person to ignore because as Zarya, they were very high charge much more often than they were not, especially on Dorado here. They were 100 charge for a good 30 seconds and were able to completely wipe the enemy team a couple of times, even spawn camping, and the Grab Dragons was perfectly executed. A little late, but perfectly executed.
Yeah, they understood that Team Kumpen was able to play it to success. So, of course, the player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. So, Fem Neptune will be your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. So, as we prepare to close out this match, any big takeaways for you?
You gotta press Q. You can't fix using your ultimate incorrectly. Like, you can't work on that skill if you never press Q. Pressing Q is the first step.
Yeah, so we want to issue a huge congratulations to the Everests for a second straight Rumble victory. They look at the top of their game for the winter season, but it's still just kicking off. This is only week 2, so Meridian Technical is not too far behind with a strong second place finish this week and look poised to challenge the Everests in the near future. For just their second Rumble appearance, the Monsoons were also quite close to the grand finals, and with the combined strength of the Fire Islands looking very good. So with a few more weeks of practice, might make some noise in the coming week. So make sure to join us for the next 2 weeks, February 15th, for our week 3 Rumble at 6 p.m. EST, right here on the Boise State Twitch channel. We'll close out tonight with the top 5 plays of the game, so have a good night.
Getting set up. You see them right there around that corner, just waiting for it. Probably going to go around the alley flank, absolutely, and look to stick ideally one of their supports, but any squishy will do.
Yeah, hopefully we do not see it land on a Shadow Soul who gets eliminated in first fight so early on, but instead Panda Squad will get that first elimination onto Lucky Chu, quickly followed by Judge going on to beat him. Yeah, and the Great Maywell will even prevent all of the damage coming out there, so instead Dragon Shadow will answer it with the Blizzard. Will end up freezing from Neptune, but instead they look the wrong direction, and it will just let the Fat Neptune burn down the Dragon Shadow from behind his big Boofus, takes on Shadow Soul. Daydream taking down Holy Chuck, who did end up using their grab, but were not incoming as the Amplification Matrix also comes online. A Great Maywell trying to wall them off, will not end up getting it, and the Shadow comes out, not landing onto any members as Dragon Shadow takes down Pyrominx, quickly followed by Lucky Chu taking down Super. An amazing Eternal Flame Death Blossom taking down 4 members, both support hordes, a DPS and a tank falling, make that a 5-man, and that's a team kill. Absolutely phenomenal. And now the Nano's coming online for Meridian Technical.
That Blizzard is still what you're looking for, though the Diva Bomb is significant.
Yeah, instead, Panda Squad's going to open up with the double dragons and leads to 2 eliminations onto both supports, following up, taking down Eternal Flame, who tried to run back to spawn.
Meridian Tactical should choose to use it.
Yeah, they've had the ult advantage pretty much the entire time, but the Monsters have been using their ults to the advantage, kicking things up with the rally. Finally, the grab will go off as well with the double dragons, leading to 3 eliminations. Both supports and the tank gun and demech as Big Boofus finishes off the Baby Diva.